Okay. Well, welcome everyone. It's October 20th, nearing the end of the year. And I wanted to really cover and give some, discussion on what we do as realtors. I think it's important to reflect about our job, our position, our service to our clients, and maybe work on some skill sets in delivering this value proposition that we offer to people better, how to improve our presentation skills, how to communicate better. And if you really want to get the most out of this, I'll be happy to, uh, you know, work on our skills in delivering and talking. And that's important in today's day and age ever than ever so before, because people want to have trust and feel good about the people they work with. And when you're a realtor, and you're out there trying to sell a product or find a house. Honestly, when my experience as a broker and agent is people want to feel that they're not only that that you're trustworthy or responsible, or you communicate well, and but you're knowledgeable and you share them ideas or concerns, and you bring up things, the truth, material facts, um, because you care. So let's work on that demonstration of care to our clients. Let's show them how we are going to earn our realtor, our agent services by talking about the delivery, the delivery of our presentations. So that's kind of what I wanted to talk to you guys about today. And so if you want to turn on your microphone or video, it'll be better to improve, and I can have a better, more meaningful and personal, intimate conversation with you all. But when I talk to a customer and client, and I want to meet them for the first time, okay, I've have successes, I have failures. I have times where I meet a client and we don't rub each other the right way, or we don't see eye to eye, and that's okay. I don't need to take every single client, or I don't need to take every single listing or every single person that I come across, because sometimes, and that's a great thing about our independent contractor business, is we get to select who we work with. And it's a two-way street when you're looking at it as a bridge. And we're looking at connecting and keeping people who, when we work with each other as professional to client, what we're doing not only is bridging our agency service with them, but we're connecting them from their goal of their family and their home, and we're finding them the perfect match. And so as long as, and that's what the agent is from the beginning of time, we've always been known as the middleman, right? The middle woman, okay? But the middleman, as a broker, that's what we do. We used to match a need or a want and put them into the specific property and find for them that home, or sell the goal, or sell their home. So I've had failures. Don't get me wrong. I've come across maybe my commission was too high for them, or maybe my price was too low for them in terms of listing price. Maybe I've come across and rub people off because maybe of my ethnicity, or maybe it's my age, or lack of experience, or whatnot. We all suffer from challenges in real estate, but I can tell you your success ratio, it's a numbers game, like we always talk about. The more presentations you do, the more people you put yourself in front of, the likelier you're going to have success. And every no will lead you one step closer to that yes. Quite recently, I've been meeting with, this year, I'm having one of my best years yet. And these are people that have come across in sales, that I've come across complete strangers. These are not even referrals to me. These are people that I just either called me on my past sale. I met them maybe at an open house, or yeah, I had one of them that was a referral. But ultimately, when it comes to me stepping in front of them, I think of every single opportunity as a time for me to shine. a time for me to win them over, a time for me to demonstrate that I care. And so I want you to think about, what are you doing? What are the steps you take to prepare yourself for your presentation, whether it's a buyer or a seller? Typically, you have to spend a little bit more preparation for a seller. So I'll speak on that first. Meeting a seller, they have ultimately the same questions that every other seller is going to have. So it's easy to prepare. What is the price you think you can sell it for? How long is it going to take? What is your commission rate that you're going to charge? And what comes with, what's the benefit of using you? Like, what are the things that, the intangibles that you're going to bring, and how you're going to, your marketing plan? Those are the 4 questions, okay? They might have small details like, do I need to disclose this, or should I paint this, or touch up that, or repair this and that? There's some side details that you could prepare for. But ultimately, those are 4 questions is what you have to overcome. And when you deal with these questions in a very prepared way, you'll get them to buy in. Okay, so let's talk about these 4 questions, and then I'll tell you about the intangibles that you can add value when you're doing your presentation. So the first question is, how much are you going to sell the price for? When it comes to a listing, you do your own homework. But I'm going to teach you the steps that I take when I do this twice a week at least. An agent helps me or asks me, or I do it for myself. I try to analyze the value and asking price and see whether or not it's worth it. So this is the steps I take. 1, I want to know what the seller sees in their view. So I'll look at Redfin, I'll look at Zillow, I'll look at the Z estimate, I'll look at the realtor profile, and I'll see the ranges of the average median of the area. And I do an analysis of what the seller sees, so I know where they're coming from first. Secondly, I do what's called my own due diligence, and I do my CMA. I pick the best comps that are the most apple to apple, the most comparable within not necessarily 1 mile. I try to stay within a half mile if I can. And I look for recent sales. I look for sales in the same street or the same complex if it's a HOA. And I might even go farther back in the same HOA because, or look at different floor plans, because I know that the same HOA always has the strongest weighted average I should put towards those sales. Even if it's a year back, I want to know what it sold for. But when I also do my CMA analysis, I look for what you call negative things about the area, neighborhood nuisances. Maybe it's an industrial zone. Maybe it's a public street or a heavy traffic street. Maybe it's a lot size that maybe it's a corner lot, not all usable, or maybe there's potential. So when I give my CMA and I find a value, then I find what are the pros and cons. And I did this quite recently. Hopefully, let me see if I can share what I did with my last listing. Give me a second. I'm going to go pull up my Gmail. Any questions real quick? So I'm going to pull up my Gmail, and I sent my client a list of items on London. So here's how I demonstrate what I do when I meet a complete stranger. And this listing was a complete stranger who called me and asked me to list their property or ask for information, whether they were interviewing me and 4 other agents to take on the job of selling 457 Longden. I gave him my link to my broker CMA, which you guys all can do with Cloud CMA. And then I write a discussion. Hey, we're planning to meet and discuss at the property. I look forward to meeting with you and providing a consultation and some strategies. I'm extremely experienced. I've supervised thousands of transactions. I understand market trends. I have and provide great invaluable insight and great communication and cooperation. I have a track record. I know Arcadia very well. I talk about my background. I give them a link to my testimonials from past clients that wrote about me so they can do some due diligence. And it's important that I preview the interior, its condition, as well as its potential. I need, with your permission, to bring me and my wife and take an opportunity to give you a person-to-person marketing strategy to sell the highest price possible. And I didn't know them, so if you want me to come alone, I just come alone too. And I wrote them this and that. I gave them my Circle Picks brochure, I gave them my CMA, and then what I did is, here's the thing when I did my analysis. When I go into, can you guys see my screen right now? I did a little write-up. I put it on a little letterhead. You guys see my letterhead, right?
Yes.
So I just did a little analysis after doing some homework. And I go on September 2nd, I was meeting them prior to my meeting, and I'm gonna list down my pros and cons of what I see about this particular property. If you guys don't know, this is the property I'm dealing with, and I'll just show you a couple of photos really quick just because it gives us what's called reference. So if I go into, it's already in MLS, but we're dealing with a large lot here in Arcadia. I'm asking 1.488, and this is a large 17,000 square foot property. It's a huge lot, needs a lot of repairs and renovations if you want to maximize the lot. The backyard is crazy. The interior looks nice, but still needs some maybe adding on the square footage or rear ADU. It doesn't have central air. There's stuff like that. Okay, so after doing this, I'm going to show you what I told him and provided my analysis. The benefits, the pros. Huge lots, all flat. There's huge development potential. Prime central location. Baldwin Stalker schools. Neighbors have already developed nicely, and the neighborhood values are strong. This, and this. Okay, so I'm telling them detailed information that I analyzed just by driving by and doing my homework before my meeting. Okay, property is vacant, no current tendency to disturb or distract during the showing. So the cons, when I tell them negative things, I said your square footage is small. This one was only like a 3-bedroom, 2-bath, and most of the value is land value. Builders and developers are more conservative now. Building costs and construction materials are more expensive today due to China trade wars, and international climate is not strong. Lots of options in Arcadia, relatively high supply of listings that are active in Arcadia. It's tough for borrowers to obtain jumbo loan financing. There's a very strict mortgage environment, and many people have reduced their hours or lack of sufficient qualified income, or they're unemployed. There's more people taking on more debt. Unemployment rates, economic uncertainty, and the recession might lead to a depression. Global economy is suffering. No international travel to and from China. All that foreign investor that demand that we had in 4 years past and it's just boomed from China money pouring in, all of that is stopped. The fall winter real estate activity slows down traditionally. And I remember I presented this 1 month ago. So I said this is a slowing down market, and buyers are seeking values right now in the luxury market. The buyer sophistication is very high. Buyers can easily see your recent purchase price and will measure your improvements and the potential profits that you're going to gain. I wrote that as a reason because I didn't think the value is honestly that high. Okay, if you want to see my my CMA, you know, I pull this real quick, and I think I gave him a range of It's usually my last page. And when I did my homework on this property, who wants to guess the price that I gave? Uh, it's a 17,000 lot, and it was a 80 feet wide, which is very rare. You know what? I gave my range in person, but I told him that it was going to be maybe more towards 1.35 million for the property, even though I'm pricing it 100K above. And so when I did my analysis, I did this for the purposes of just being honest to the client. And even though the client did say, yeah, you're right, it could, the market, they agreed with me, all these things, but they did end up signing my listing with me because I was honest with them. I wasn't trying to promise them something, over promise, and then under deliver. Some agents try to do that strategy where they promise and say yes to everything that the client says. I'm not that person. I don't say yes to everything. I will take the listing, but I want it under my terms. And in certain aspects, I did bend on this particular one, but I'm going to be, I'm talking to you as a broker because I want to teach you a few things. One is I told them that it should hit a goal of 1.35, and that's what we're looking at. But to reach 1.488, which is my asking price, he was more of the mindset that, well, put a higher price because I don't want to take a loss on my purchase, and I don't want to lose money on this investment. He changed his mind on development. He was going to develop this fully on and tear down and rebuild, but he changed his mind due to the pandemic. And then what he wanted was for them to think that they're getting a value, because what he saw across the board is that people were asking high and people were selling for lower. So he understands that people are going to negotiate off of his asking price, and he wants to set a high bar and then let them see they're getting some value that way. So I didn't challenge him on that. I did say it's going to take a long time. If you want me to list it, I'll list it, but ultimately this is not a good market right now to try to hit that goal. But I'm going to try for you regardless. If you employ me and you go with my rate, and then we can rediscuss this later on the price. I will take your listing under these terms and conditions. So ultimately, he wants to test the market. He wants to test and see if there's activity and response. And for me personally, I won this listing, got him to sign, and did my whole presentation in 20 minutes, and he signed. So I met a complete stranger, did my presentation, did some upfront emails and my marketing materials for him to review, but I got a signature in 20 minutes. Okay, that's not easy to do. But I told him, and he told me that he understands it might sit on the market. He told me, I don't mind letting it sit for 4, 6, 8 months, no sales. So he wasn't that motivated, but he wants to hit a goal of the price. And he was more of the, he wants someone to just work it if there's any opportunity, or to negotiate. And he thought I was the best fit because I sold another multi-million-dollar property down the street. So I brought many developers in, I brought many builders in, and this is just not the climate right now to be building a luxury 8,000, 6,000 square foot mansion. So it's tough for me because this is not my marketplace, but I'm still going to do my job. I'm still going to work it. But I did discuss the price, and I didn't overpromise to him. I said, I don't think I'm going to be able to sell this for 1.488 or even 1.45. I don't think that's going to happen. I'll follow your instruction, but I don't think it's going to happen. And so he gave me a longer listing period, and he gave me an opportunity to rediscuss this later on, and an opportunity to promote and be on a heavy street, which is my yard signs out there. So there might be more opportunities for me, and that's why I said yes, because I get the visibility as well. But at the end of the day, I'm still working it and I'm still trying to get it sold, but there's lessons to learn. Okay. He changed his mind on the development, and I told him, you overpaid for when you bought it. Okay. I was honest with him, and I felt that he did overpay too much for this for this property. The second question that they're going to ask you is how long is it going to take? And I said, well, yeah, we can keep it 1.4. For example, if you want 1.488, I can do it. Just give me a 10-year listing. Okay, that's how long it could take. And I know I didn't sign a 10-year listing, but I know the market will catch up to that price. So speaking on timing, timing is important. Most people want, if there's a motivated seller, they want to get it sold within the first 30, 60 days. But this is an unmotivated seller when I'm dealing with. They're not going to sell it unless they hit, a certain minimum. And he doesn't need to sell the property. He has other properties and he's doing fine and he's working. And to him, he's just gonna lose out on the vacancy and the property tax, or he might just decide to rent it out. Who knows? But when you're dealing with timing, and timing is crucial, you need to understand their timing, understand the motivation, because that's going to help you in your presentation when you're trying to remind them about why you're trying to list it here, so that way you can get lots of activity and sell it for here. Okay, and that's exactly what Grace Ho and I did in our other listing. Okay, Grace Ho and I talked about, we took another listing on at, let me go ahead and pull it up. And this is the opposite, exact opposite. Let me start screen sharing of my Arcadia listing. We took a listing out here outside our territory, and this is in Los Angeles Miracle Mile. And when Grace and I did our homework and partnered up on this listing, I told her, I don't want to be influenced by your decision or Zillow, because Zillow had this a little bit higher than our asking price. And I said, Grace, why don't you go ahead and do your homework? Tell me what value on your CMA that you have. I'm going to do independently my analysis, and let's come together on what we believe the value should be. She did her job, I did my job, and we found out that we probably should sell it somewhere between 1.25 or 1.2 on the lower end, due to a couple of reasons. There's a death on the property. It's a historical neighborhood where there's a historical review process. It's a busier street, and the condition is needs work, updating. And the death of the property was not just a simple natural death; it was kind of tragic. So, for this reasons, we decided and gave a presentation to the sellers, who are not just one person. There's kind of 3 involved people and families of the deceased, who had to make a decision. And in this particular instance, we decided to price it low, let the market respond to its value. And the owners bought in, they agreed with us, and we found and worked it to the point where we've had 20 showings the first week, and we put it in escrow in about 9 days. Okay, and the reason why we're able to do this is because we were able to drive activity based upon putting a lower price. And then I know a lot of sellers fear, but I don't want to sell it for 1.2. I want higher than that. Or everyone's like, I think it's worth this. And they're afraid of putting a low price, but they're not understanding that this is a marketplace where there are buyers competing like crazy. There's limited inventory, and multiple offers is the way you get your market price. Let's pick and choose from the top 3 or 5 qualified offers and make them bid against each other. And that's exactly what Grace and I did. And so far, to the point where we got 100K asking, 100K over asking in terms of the offer. And that's very strong. We exceeded the seller's expectations. They didn't think it was possible, but we got there, and we gave them our consultation. We told the sellers what to do. We gave them some advice and told them to remove all the furniture, to clean this and that out, hire a professional cleaner to take away all the dust and the spider webs. We told them to paint the exterior and match the same colors, but keep it Spanish style. We asked them to pressure wash the flooring in the driveway so it looks cleaner and have a nicer first impression. We told the seller and asked them to not do extensive remodeling, like redo the kitchen and bathrooms and the flooring, but we asked them to remove some things like those window bars, security bars, um, and basically just declutter everywhere because it was a big mess, and hire a gardener to clean up and get the grass green and make it look pretty. So the sellers listened to us 100%, and that's how we got 100K over asking. Okay, because when you look at the photos and you look at the property, it's a beautiful looking home. Okay, you have a lot of potential here. Yes, it's older fashioned and more original style on different things, but this kind of product, people paid or willing to pay 100K over asking. Okay, so that's an example of the opposite of my Longdon listing, where I got the owner to follow my guidance, and look what happens. We have cash offers, we have a lot of activity, and I assume this is going to close really quickly. So for Grace and myself, we're very excited and happy. We did a very professional presentation. We're doing our meetings by Zoom and teaching them how to use the technology to our advantage and e-sign. And because, you know, they're older people, they're learning at the same time, they appreciate us teaching them new things too. And you guys can do that as well. I teach them how to use Zoom. I teach them how to sign things and how to find stuff online. I share my screen. I love having this opportunity to use Zoom and doing so much. The third question is my commission rate. And, you know, I charge, 5%. But I do give a discount sometimes if they're coming into or following my guidance, or sometimes I give a discount here and there because I was trying to, because if they're putting money in and it makes my job easier, then I can discount as well. So for us, you know, we went down the middle, we went 4.5%, and to do that. And I think that's fair when you're dealing with over $1 million property. Rates right now are negotiable, and we wanted to stay competitive because we were competing against 2 other realtors as well, and we stayed competitive too. But at the end of the day, I think we're doing our job right, and we're having some success. And Grace and my phone calls have been crazy, off the hook with showing appointments and trying to keep safe in the COVID protocols, disinfecting the property. It's been crazy and busy, but right now, I don't see a slow season this coming fall and winter. I do believe that it's going to continue to spill over in a lot of activity if you have listings. Okay. So those are the 4 things that I do in answering questions. But what are the intangibles? I'm going to talk about that real quick before we end. The intangibles that you do is building that rapport, building that trust, and it's all through communication. It's all through seeing eye to eye and showing my preparation. Like the example, the pros and the cons that I gave you in the list. How many of you ever done that kind of presentation where you simply just wrote all the negative things and all the positive things? Have any of you ever tried that strategy? So if you haven't, I encourage you, because that's a simple way to show that you're prepared. Okay, that you did some homework, that you treat this client with respect by not just coming in and winging it because you're experienced or because you know Arcadia or Temple City. No. I don't just wing it. I do what I can to show them my respect by putting some energy and effort. And it took me only 20 minutes to write that up. And you could use exactly those same examples because this is the same marketplace as it was last month. So you can always watch and record this YouTube video on my YouTube channel, and you can see my list if you wanted to write it up for your next listing presentation and use the same examples. I want to give you some very helpful resources that are going to help you in your business. And I think that's very effective because that's probably why he selected me versus the other two agents, is because I actually came in, not only did the CMA, the bare minimum, not only gave him guidance, but I also gave him steps to take. Okay. And I gave him my honest example or reason. And I said, I'm not going to, I don't even want to take this listing. He actually asked me, please just take my listing. I don't, I know you don't believe in this value, but I like you as a realtor. So I want you to just take my price, see if any activity, we'll come down to it later on and have a discussion on price later on. So he begged me to take the listing, even though I didn't want to take it for that price because I didn't want to let him down. I didn't want to waste my time, but I did accept it because it's only 2 blocks away from my office. So I could show it, I could work it and do the things I need to do. But if this was a 40-minute drive for me, I wouldn't take it. Okay. But because it's close to me, yes. So there's certain instances where you need to, show the X factor. And that X factor is who you are within, your character, your personality. And everyone out there, you guys are working hard. I know you guys are responsible. I know you guys are honest people, responsible and talented in your own ways. However, many of you guys haven't worked on your delivery of your X factor. I mean, how many of you have ever sat down and worked on your resume this year? How many of you ever rehearsed your elevator 30-second pitch about who you are and why you love real estate and why your clients, why you help clients? What's your successes? What's your expertise, your specialties? Have any of you sat down and practiced in front of a mirror your delivery? What are the things that you're gonna recall? Because if you haven't written it down at the very minimum, or put it and talked in front of a mirror, or practice your script on your loved one or like maybe a family member, you're not going to improve your delivery. So I need you to work on your script, because the script is something that I always fall back on, because I do practice this. I do a million of, I'm a writer, so I love to write I like to write my ideas, and then I condense it all so that I can fit it all within 30 seconds to a minute, introducing myself, why I'm special, why I'm the best man or woman for the job, and why the benefits of using me versus anyone else is you're getting a quality person who has character, who is likable, who could smile and do business, focused at what's on hand. I don't take things very personal when they say no to me, but I don't overpromise them. I hopefully I try to do what's called I underpromise, over deliver on my service, and they can see that, they feel that when they read my writing, they feel that I care, that I'm on their side. We're on the same team. They feel my communication every week when I tell them, look, owner, we're not getting any activity. I think we need to do this. Or I tell the owner, I really think you need to paint the exterior. I really want you to have a great first impression. I want to have a strong first 2 weeks of showing activity. I have a goal. You guys have a goal to sell this quickly. Let's do this and prepare. And we spent an extra 10 days just to prepare, but the results speak for itself. Right, Grace? So the things that you guys can do, I hope you guys, listen to this and decide to change and spend a little bit of time of reflection. Spend a little time to think about what are the best 3 or 5 things that you do in your transaction and your service, why you're the best man or woman for the job. So I know like Jean over here, she's very hardworking. She's so diligent. She double checks every time with me on her writing. And I know she's a very hard worker. Okay. Laura, I know you're in here and you spend so much time in you're their business, asking a lot of questions. You're so knowledgeable in your network and working hard. And you're having one of your best years ever too. Callista, you're in this room, and she is such a smooth talker. She's calm, but yet she's she's building confidence day by day. And I love that about Callista, always trying to improve her own skills. And, going down the line, I mean, you guys are all, Clinton, I know he's a new agent with us. Some of you guys haven't met him, but I'm reviewing his offers. I'm reviewing his showings, and he's asking me great questions because I know you guys want to improve and do things right for your clients. That's what I love about you guys. You guys don't want to make a mistake. And if you have that right attitude, I love you guys being there with me and asking me, texting me, even though I get back to you the next day sometimes. I'm here to you because I don't want you making mistakes either. I want you to shine. So if you want to shine, if you want to be the best version of yourself this end of the year and for 2021 and beyond, work on your delivery. If you want me to talk with you and we'll spend 10-20 minutes going over your pitch, I'll ask you some questions, like I'll role play with some of you guys. And I want to make sure your communication, your delivery is fine-tuned. Okay, so I'll give you my feedback and let's spend some time on that script, guys. Any questions, any feedback, anything you guys want to share right now before I end today? So today I do have to cut today's training short. I got to jump into another Zoom meeting with budget and finance, but I hope I kind of gave you something to think about, something that I want you to work on because we're going to start business planning for 2021. And in my upcoming trainings, I'm going to teach you, put together a business plan that we're going to work on, how to stay and run our businesses during a pandemic. And so we talked about it a little bit. And, when you go through my YouTube channel, you can see the guidance I'm providing, tidbits here and there. But we are going to work on our business plan sometime in November and put together how we're going to succeed this coming next year. Okay? Any questions, guys, before we end? Because I have a 2:30 budget and finance meeting.
No, thank you.
Okay. Thanks, guys. I appreciate y'all being here on time and joining me for today's session. I apologize. I got to cut it a little short, but I'll see you guys next week, okay?
Thank you.
Okay. Bye, guys.
Thank you. Bye-bye.